So that's behavioral health, business, women's day.
These are all
And
behavioral.
then, yeah, and then we're going to read all three of us are going to do this.
Okay.
So I think we have to wait for our technical difficulties to be over, but we can start with the proclamations.
Oh, you're
Like I'm
this.
naked, man.
Oh, it's a
God, it
terrible
sucks,
feeling.
man.
Okay.
You don't even use a watch either.
I do. I have this one.
Well, you gotta, does it have phone service on it?
Yeah.
You can at least see it's calling.
So if I could just let everybody know, we're having technical issues with the Zoom. Hopefully that's being worked on prior to starting the meeting. We're not going to start the meeting until that's fixed. So prior to the meeting, what we're going to do is start with our proclamations. And the first one is the Fayette County, Pennsylvania kickoff of the America 250, and we're commemorating Lafayette's 200th anniversary as well. And the Chamber of Commerce is here to help us celebrate. And if we can, have you guys come up? Yeah. No. Okay.
Up here?
Yeah. So we all have a section to read, so,
Look at that.
I know, very nice, huh? Whereas the year 2026 marks the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States of America, a historical milestone in our nation's journey of freedom, democracy, and unity. And whereas, as we approach this momentous occasion, it is our duty and privilege to reflect on our nation's rich history, honor those who have shaped our shared heritage, and celebrate the enduring spirit of the American people. And whereas Fayette County holds a unique place in the history of America, named in honor of the esteemed Major General the Marquis de Lafayette, the French hero of the American Revolution, whose bravery, leadership, and unwavering commitment to liberty strengthened our fight for independence.
Whereas 2025 also marks the 200th anniversary of the General Lafayette's grand tour of the United States, during which he welcomed with great admiration and gratitude, was welcomed by great admiration and gratitude by the citizens of Fayette County and across the nation. Whereas it was fitting that we, the people of Fayette County, join the national efforts to commemorate the 250th and the Lafayette 200 paying tribute to the past while planning for the future that upholds the values of freedom, justice, and unity. And whereas we recognize the importance of engaging our residents, community organizations, educators, historians, and local leaders in planning meaningful events and initiatives that will educate, inspire, and bring together people of all ages.
Now therefore, by it resolved that we, the Commissioners of Fayette County, Pennsylvania, do hereby proclaim the official kickoff of the planning for the America 250 celebration and the I can't get it out of my mouth, of Lafayette's 200th in Fayette County. We encourage all citizens to take part in the historic initiative to reflect on the legacy of our nation's founding and to honor the contributions of Lafayette and all those who have fought for freedom. Together, let us ensure that these there it is again, leave a lasting impact on future generations and strengthen our bonds of our great community. In the witness of, therefore, seal of Fayette County today on the 20th day of February the 24th, Scott Dunn, It's an ABCDCD for. Sorry, there are certain words that don't come out of the mouth. I can never get it to twist right.
And we have Muriel Nuttall, the Executive Director of the Fayette County Chamber of Commerce, who is coordinating a lot of the activities that are going to be associated with America 250. And do you have anything to say?
Thank you. I'm excited. We're excited. We have a pretty large committee that has been meeting since about last June. This is a partnership between the county and the chamber and countless, there have to be 15 or 20 other organizations already. We're excited because we're welcoming more people to be involved in that process, and we have a beautiful logo now, and we are ready to kick off our planning for 13. What we will have is 13 months of events leading up to the 250th anniversary, which is in July of 2026. But we will actually kick off our events here in Fayette County in May, which is the commemoration of the 200th, the last visit of General Marquis de Lafayette to Fayette County. And I do have press releases there on the chair, if anybody would like one. There are many pieces involved in the 250th. One, in fact, is a bell. There's a bell project all across Pennsylvania. Fayette County has, we have a bell sponsored, and we'll be working with Touchstone to do the artistic work on that bell, and we will debut it as part of the 250th celebration as well. We have a curriculum for children in process, for the schools. We have planning a gala. There's a lot of pieces that are really in preliminary planning, kind of laid a foundation on which we can build the celebration for over a year now.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we take a picture or? All right,
Part of
thank
the
you.
county.
Thank you, thank you.
So next, it is International Women's Day on March 8th, 2025, and Commissioner Moore is going to read that one. Hi, how you doing? Come on up.
Proclamation of March 8th, 2025 as International Women's Day. Whereas International Women's Day is observed annually on March 8th, celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women around the world. And whereas women have played an invaluable role in the development and progress of societies throughout history, overcoming significant obstacles and challenges to achieve equity and justice. And whereas this day serves as a reminder of the ongoing struggles for gender equality and the need to fight against all forms of discrimination and violence against women. And whereas the theme of International Women's Day 2025 for all women and girls, rights, equity, and empowerment is a call to action that can unlock equal rights, power, and opportunities for all in a feminist future, where no one is left behind. Whereas we honor the contributions of women in all walks of life, from leaders and innovators to caregivers and educators, and express our gratitude for their tireless efforts and unwavering resilience. And whereas it is essential to promote policies and initiatives that support women's empowerment, education, and economic opportunities, fostering an inclusive environment where all women can thrive and succeed. And whereas we stand on solidarity with women around the world, advocating for their rights and celebrating their achievements as we work together to create a more just and equitable society. Therefore, we, the Board of Commissioners of Fayette County, do hereby proclaim March 8th, 2025 as International Women's Day in Fayette County. We encourage all Americans to observe this day with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and achievements that honor the remarkable contributions of women and promote the principles of equity and justice in all. Signed by Commissioner Scott Dunn, Commissioner Vince Davis, and Commissioner Dave Wall.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your hand started up.
Do you have anything to say?
Yes, I'm Denise Diaz. I'm the president of Serapis International of Fayette County, and our mission is to help women and girls to come out of poverty and abuse through education. Okay.
Turn it around. Let's get a
Oh, okay.
picture with the, there you go.
Okay, thank you. Nice to see you.
I'll take a picture.
Okay. And you'll just let us know if there's a chat or anything like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. Who's here for that?
Hi.
Good morning.
Morning.
See you again.
see you.
Come right here in the middle. There you go.
Okay. Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, March 2025. Whereas in 1966, the Pennsylvania legislature enacted the Mental Health Intellectual Disabilities Act to provide comprehensive, community-based services to all persons regardless of ability to pay. And whereas community-based programs are dramatically reduced the number of individuals living in state institutions, and whereas Fayette County provides developmental disability services for over 620 Fayette County residents with intellectual disabilities / autism, and over the 325 children eligible for early intervention services. And whereas Fayette County is committed to the concept of self-determination, which promotes the right of all individuals to determine how they will live their lives, where and whom, and as a freedom of choice, control, dignity, and respect. And whereas through the Fayette County Behavioral Health Administration and various service providers, quality community-based services are available to Fayette County residents. Now therefore we, Scott Dunn, Chairman, Vince Vacides, and Dave Lohr, Commissioners of Fayette County, hereby proclaim March 25th as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, to be observed with appropriate community programs, ceremonies, and activities. Thank you.
You wanna- Sure.
This is Jacob Wadsworth. He is our representative this year for the Intellectual Developmental Disabilities Month. I'm Sherry Mitchell. I am the Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Deputy Administrator at Fayette County Behavioral Health. A lot of our providers do a lot of activities in the month of March, so you can always go on our website to see what that is. And Jacob is very, very busy, I want to let you know, in the community. He plays 4 different sports. He plays basketball, he plays bocce and bowling with Special Olympics, and he also is on the Miracle Rouge baseball team. So, Jacob is very, very busy.
But hold that up, we'll get a good picture. Good job, buddy. Nice to meet you.
Keep up the good work. There's 2 more.
Okay, we will be called to order. This is the Fayette County Commissioners meeting. It's Thursday, February 20th, 2025. If you will all stand for a moment of prayer. Pastor, if you...
Just read a brief passage out of Romans chapter 13. Every governing authority that exists has been instituted by God, and there is no authority except from God. So let's pray. Father, as we begin to convene this meeting, Almighty God, we bow before you as the maker of heaven and earth, the giver of life, the one who has granted governments for your people, for the edification, for the support, for the safety. And so we thank you for governments. We thank you for this local government and this meeting that is about to occur. We pray that there would be wisdom. We pray that justice would be served. We pray that there would be protection and help for the poor. We thank you that so many of these things are a part of our experience that we don't even, we take it for granted. We don't even think much about it, but recognizing it's all from you. Thank you, Lord, and bless the meeting, bless these leaders, not just the commissioners, but all those that work in government, and may it be done properly and in order. We pray it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. We'll remain standing and face the flag to repeat. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor. So it's time for public comment on agenda items. Before we go there, just for the record, even though the screens are off, the Zoom is on, people can't see us, and our Zoom is being monitored in the back of the room. When you speak, if you're going to speak publicly, we need you to come up to the podium. That is so the people can hear you on Zoom. That's where the microphone is for the Zoom. So right now we will open up to public comment on agenda items. Please state your name.
Good morning. My name is Melanie Patterson. I am a small business owner in the hospitality and tourism industry for the past 20 years. I own properties in Westmoreland County, Florida, and currently working on developing a destination in Washington County. After the agenda was posted yesterday, I went on to the Fayette County TV website and I watched a video of the Sheepskin Trail, groundbreaking, where Commissioners Scott Dunn and Vince Vacides, who were on the TV special there, whose, by the way, fiscal mismanagement led to a Fayette County tax hike. In it, they touted this Sheepskin Trail as an economic boom. And Scott Dunn is mentioned in that video as promising $34 million annually coming into the county and promised 300 jobs. And Vince Vacides in that video promised better health for the residents of Fayette County. I checked on several related NGO Facebook pages for further details and clarification on those prospects and their economic development, and I found nothing. Nothing. The taxpayers of Fayette County deserve transparency, clarity, integrity, and accountability with the Sheepskin Trail. And as far as the website and Fayette County details that you have on the website is just nothing but fantasy and reality of $34 million annually. Just think about that. That's our budget, isn't it? And you promised to bring that into Fayette County. I'd like to know how and further details. Thank you.
So, for the record, there is a organization called the GAP Conservancy for the Great Allegheny Passage. If you, they do have economic impact studies for bike trails and the GAP. It comes in at about $800,000 per mile for a bike trail. The amounts for the sheepskin trail are estimated based on that study, and that study is available online. It's Gap Conservancy. I don't have their website. Any other public comment on agenda items? Hearing none. Number 4 is proclamations. Prior to the meeting, we had a proclamation for the Fayette County kickoff of America 250 and commemorating Lafayette's 200th. Got me going on that. International Women's Day of March 8th, 2025, and Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month in March of 2025. Now we go to number 5, the report of the Controller.
I'll give it.
Good morning.
Morning.
February 20th, 2025. The general fund, the cash balance in the general ledger is $4,496. $4,496,569.51. The Tran tax anticipation note is $6 million. 2024 revenue, the budget is $54,366,008. Year to date, $2,343,707.49. Percentage received was 4.31%. 2024 expenditures, the budget, $54,366,008. Year to date, $8,080,075.14. Percentage used is 14.86%. Due to general fund, payroll payments due to general fund, CYS, $6,931,383.81. Loan payable due to general fund, CYS, $750,000. The total owed is $7,681,383.81. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think on the one thing, on the second expenditures, you said 2024, it's probably 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just doing it for the record on the recording, that's all. Sure.
Good catch. All right, number 6, Behavioral Health Administration.
Consider approval of the following agreements and modifications. Health Choices Professional Service Agreement 2025, Fayette County Drug and Alcohol Commission, Inc. Modification Agreement Number 1, 2024 to 2025, Allegheny Intermediate Unit, Neurological Therapy Specialists, Inc. Therapeutic Early Intervention Services, LLC. Modification Agreement Number 1 of 2023-2024, Goodwill of Southwestern PA. And Modification Agreement Number 3 of 2023-2024, Chestnut Ridge Counseling Services, Inc., as listed.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Number 7, Buildings and Grounds.
Consider awarding bid 25-02 fuel for February 2025 through January 2026 to Center Independent Energy LP at a rate of .189 over Pittsburgh OPIS average.
Motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider awarding bid 25-03 janitorial supplies to the listed vendors: Steritor Supply, United Supply, Pacific Star, Pyramid, Quill, and Central Poly as attached.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Number 8, children and youth.
Consider approval of a fiscal year 2024-25 purchase of service agreement between Fayette County through CYS and Juvenile Probation and Family First, P.O. Box 234, McClellantown, PA, for in-home nurturing parenting program services on an as-needed basis. The rates are listed.
Motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval of a fiscal year 2024-25 purchase of service agreement between Fayette County through CYS and Juvenile Probation and Adolphi Village, Inc., 354 Main Street, Latrobe, PA, for foster care and group home services on an as-needed basis. The rates are listed.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval of a fiscal year 2024-25 purchase of service agreement between Fayette County through CYS and Juvenile Probation and Perspective LLC, P.O. Box 99691, Pittsburgh, PA, for mental health services. The rates are listed.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval of a fiscal year 2024-25 purchase of service agreement between the County of Fayette through CYS and A Child's Place, 1515 Locust Street, Suite 302, Pittsburgh, PA. This service includes evidence-based parenting education in the form of positive parenting program curriculum to families in the county, production of and maintenance of recordings and written reports, maintenance of equipment, telephone testimony for court proceedings, in-person testimony for court proceedings when telephone testimony is not permitted or feasible, and provision of education for agency personnel. The rate for this service is not to exceed $221,673.23.
Motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval of a fiscal year 2024-25 purchase of service agreement between Fayette County and CYS and A Child's Place, PA, 1515 Locust Street, Suite 302, Pittsburgh, PA. This service includes physical examinations and forensic interviews in cases of suspected child abuse and neglect, production and maintenance of recordings and written reports, maintenance of equipment, telephone testimony for court proceedings, in-person testimony for court proceedings when telephone testimony is not permitted or feasible, conduct monthly scan meetings, which shall include members of the agency's MDT and MDIT teams, and provision of education for agency personnel, DMT, and MDIT partners. This service also includes medical chart reviews, interpretation of medical terminology, explanation of documented diagnosis, treatment plans and follow-ups, and case documentation. The rates are listed.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval of a fiscal year 2024-25 purchase of service agreement between Fayette County through CYS and Juvenile Probation and Presley Ridge, 5500 Corporate Drive, Suite 400, Pittsburgh, PA, for placements and in-home services on an as-needed basis. The rates are listed.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Consider approval of a fiscal year 2024-25 purchase of service agreement between Fayette County through CYS and Juvenile Probation and Community Resources of Fayette County, Inc., also known as Crime Victim Center of Fayette County, 6 Oliver Road, Suite 108, Oliver Square, Uniontown, PA, for the school and community program on an as-needed basis. The rate is $23,000 for the contract period.
Move.
Second.
The motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Consider approval of a fiscal year 2024-25 purchase of service agreement between Fayette County through CYS and Juvenile Probation and Community Resources of Fayette County, Inc., also known as Crime Victim Center of Fayette County, 6 Oliver Road, Suite 108, Oliver Square, Uniontown, PA, for parenting classes, trans-parenting, roller coasters, counseling, visitation, life skills, victim community awareness, teen life skills, and teen parenting on an as-needed basis. The rates are listed.
Move.
Second.
The motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval of a fiscal year 2024-25 purchase of service agreement between Fayette County through CYS and James Guybeck Esquire, 815B Memorial Boulevard, Connellsville, PA. Attorney Guybeck was court-appointed to represent children in dependency proceedings. The rate for his services is $75 per hour.
Move.
Second.
The motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval of a fiscal year 2024-25 purchase of service agreement between Fayette County through CYS and Jennifer M. Cassini Esquire, 815B Memorial Boulevard, Connellsville, PA. Attorney Cassini was court-appointed to represent children in dependency proceedings. The rate for her services is $75 per hour.
Move.
Second.
The motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval of the following CoStar leases through Ford of Uniontown, which includes a $100,000 mile warranty and an extended service premium maintenance plan. Financing will be through First National Bank Commercial Leasing. The lease information is listed.
Move.
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Hey, on those, on these leases too, when the cars are actually getting replaced, many times we are able to obtain those for like $1. And it really has helped our fleet of cars over the years in particular because it's, our cars get a lot of miles on them and they need replaced. And this is one of the ways that we've been able to really curb the cost on obtaining vehicles. So we really appreciate it when that happens through CYS.
Well, at our last department head meeting, I had mentioned it to Patty, who works in the Buildings and Grounds Department overseeing this, that make sure that we have the opportunity to look at those cars to see if they're roadworthy and worth, us accepting them. But I agree, we've saved a lot of money doing that. A lot of these counties do the fleet leasing, which is much more expensive.
Consider approval of a CoStar lease through Ford of Uniontown, which includes a 100,000-mile warranty and an extended service premium maintenance plan. The lease payments will be 100% funded through Fayette County CYS Plans of Safe Care Grant. Financing will be through First National Bank Commercial Leasing. The lease information is listed.
Move.
Second.
The motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval to purchase 19 Microsoft Surface laptops at a cost of $1,658.89 each. 19 MS SUR LT6 EHS with a 4-year warranty at a cost of $151.50 each, and 5 Microsoft Surface Dock 2 docking stations at a cost of $212.12 each, for a total cost of $35,458.01. This purchase is through CoStar CDW.
Move.
Second.
Motion's promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Yeah, this is another one of those areas that CYS has really been able to help us on the county level, because their computers, many times, they're still in very good working condition, and the IT can actually restructure those and get those into different departments that need computers. So we've been able to curb some of the cost once again there on using used computers that are still, they have still a lot of life in them. So that's something we've been doing for years also.
And the money that we're spending here is 90+% state funded, I believe.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded, and we will call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0. Number 9 is the courts.
Consider ratification of entering into cleaning contracts with Dustbusters Cleaning Service of Connellsville to clean the offices of Magisterial District Judge 14-3-02 and Magisterial District Judge 14-2-03, effective February 4th, 2025, at a cost of $200 a month and $100 a month respectively.
Move.
150.
Yeah.
What did I say?
150. Okay. Motion is moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0. Number 10, Emergency Management Agency 911.
Consider ratification of a change order to the I-Corps Master Site Maintenance and SUA contract, adding cybersecurity, Astro 25, Managed Detection and Response Security Services, no cost to the county.
Move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Consider adoption of the updated Inter-County Regional Radio System, I-Corps Radio Communications Charter and Governance Procedures for I-Corps users.
Move.
Second.
The motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Consider appointment of the following to the I-Corps Board as stated in the Inter-County Regional Radio System, I-Corps Radio Communications Charter and Governance Procedures for I-Corps users. Executive Board, Roy Shipley, Emergency Management Director, Jody Victor, 911 Coordinator. I-Corps System Administration Subcommittee, Tony Alvear, IT Director, Radio System Manager, and alternate Richard Black, GIS Manager, Assistant IT Director.
Move.
Is there a
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Consider ratification of the Memorandum of Understanding pertaining to the governance, operation, and maintenance of a regional safety radio system controller switch for the Inter-County Regional Radio System, I-Corps.
Move.
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval for the Fayette County Department of Emergency Management to enter into an agreement with Motorola Solutions to utilize their citizen input and smart transcription services for 1 year at no cost to the county.
Move.
Second.
The motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval for Roy Shipley, Emergency Management Director, to attend the 2025 Mid-Atlantic VOAD Conference Sunday, March 30th through Tuesday, April 1st, 2025 at Cacapon State Park in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. Cost not to exceed $420.
Move.
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Number 11 is Human Resources.
Under Assessment, consider approval of the retirement of Teresa Ometz, Computer Network Admin Assistant, effective February 3rd, 2025.
Move.
Second.
Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Under CYS, consider approval of the separation of employment of Jared Shaw, Caseworker 1, effective January 23rd, 2025.
Move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval of the resignation of Courtney Venick, Caseworker 1, effective January 22nd, 2025.
Move.
Second.
Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Consider approval of the hiring of Jamie Joe Thorpe, Caseworker 1, SEIU CYS $24.04 an hour, $46,878 annually, effective February 24th, 2025.
Move.
Second.
Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval of the hiring of Leanna Hoffman, Caseworker 1, SEIU CYS $24.04 an hour, $46,878 annually, effective February 24th, 2025.
Move.
Second.
Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Under Election Bureau, consider ratification of the promotion of Jane Emery to Department Clerk 3, SEIU pay grade 7, step SR1, $15.16 an hour, $29,562 annually, effective February 3rd, 2025.
Move.
Second.
Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider ratification of the promotion of Linda Ridgely to Department Clerk 3, SEIU pay grade 7, step SR, $14.73 an hour, $28,723.50 annually, effective February 3rd, 2025.
Move.
Second.
Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Under EMA, consider ratification of the promotion of John McGow to part-time dispatcher 1, SEIU pay grade 10, SR, $21.31 an hour, effective February 2nd, 2025.
Move.
Second.
Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider ratification of the promotion of Casey Regola to full-time dispatcher 1, SEIU pay grade 10, starting rate $21.31 an hour, $44,324.80 annually, effective February 16th, 2025.
Move.
Second.
Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval of the resignation of Destiny Bach, dispatcher trainee, effective January 27th, 2025.
Move.
Second.
Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval of the hiring of Diana Bigham, dispatcher 1, SEIU, PR10, SR, $21.31 an hour, $44,324.80 annually, effective January 24th, 2025.
Move.
Second.
Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval of the separation of employment of Amanda Seacrest, dispatcher trainee, effective February 7th, 2025.
Move.
Second.
Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Fayette County Behavioral Health Administration, consider ratification of the promotion of Allison Snyder to County Caseworker 2, non-union, pay grade 35, step EE, $21 an hour, $40,950 annually, effective February 9th, 2025.
Move.
Second. Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider ratification of the promotion of Elizabeth John to County Caseworker 2, non-union, pay grade 35, step EE, $21 an hour, $40,950 annually, effective January 26, 2025.
Move.
Second. Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider ratification of the promotion of Jennifer Kelly to County Caseworker 2, non-union, pay grade 35, step EE, $21 an hour, $40,950 annually, effective January 26, 2025.
Move.
Second. Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval of the resignation of Aaron Mudry, County Caseworker 2, effective January 31st, 2025.
Move.
Second. Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Consider approval of the retirement of Brenda Busker, MH Program Specialist 1, effective February 21st, 2025.
Move.
Second. Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval of the hiring of Paula Blows, County Caseworker 2, non-union, pay grade 35, step EE, $21 an hour, $40,950 annually, effective February 24th, 2025.
Move.
Second. Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Consider approval of the hiring of Savannah Baker, County Caseworker 1, non-union, pay grade 33, step EE, $19.82 an hour, $38,649 annually, effective March 3rd, 2025.
Move.
Second. The motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Consider ratification of the Fayette County Behavioral Health Administration Compensation Plan for the period of January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025.
Move.
Second. The motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Under Records Department, consider approval of the separation of employment of Nicole Glaze, Records Archivist, effective February 6, 2025.
Move.
Second. Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under Human Resources, consider approval of the extension of the contract between Weber Advisors, Gary Sefcock, and the County of Fayette for consulting services for county benefits. Consultant fees shall be $5.25 PEPM for the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2028.
Move.
Second. Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Number 12, juvenile probation.
Consider approval of a contract with Multi-Health Systems, MHS, Inc. The yearly contract is per the assessment usage of the in-house assessment tool, the youth level of service, which is performed on every delinquent juvenile under supervision. The per assessment cost is $4, with an estimated cost of less than $900 per year. This expenditure is expected to remain constant for the foreseeable future with no major increase. Ending 2024, the cost was $820.
Move. Second. Second. Motion is properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Consider approval of entering into a contract between the Juvenile Probation Office and AT&T FirstNet for cellular telephone service with upgrades to current phones and protective cases, and for a savings of approximately $100 per month.
Move.
Is there a
Second.
Motion is brought and moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Number 13, Office of Tax Services.
Under tax claim, consider approval of the following repository bids opened on February 4th, 2025, subject to all conditions being met. Total bid amount is $2,620 as listed.
Move.
Second.
Motion is brought and moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Number 14, Planning, Zoning, and Community Development.
Consider approval of a reimbursement agreement R25120004 for the Sheepskin Trail City of Uniontown Connection Project with an MPMS number 118278. Total project cost is $2,526,040, and it's 100% federal funds.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? Second that motion. Motion is brought and moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
It's zero county funds, none provided here. It's a PennDOT funding, working with the SPC. We were able to get this funding to complete the Uniontown section of the Sheepskin Trail. So, it'll get that connected through Uniontown here. Hopefully, the sooner the better.
So this, just stepping back for the record, the City of Uniontown was not an eligible grantee, so that's why the county is the grantee. The scope of this work has actually changed from the Sheepskin Trail, and it will improve 4 intersections, including traffic lights, in the City of Uniontown. So that's part of this, the change in the scope of work as well. So, just for the record, the city couldn't do that on their own. The county was an eligible grantee, the city was not. Therefore, we applied for this. This will be an actual pass-through grant in 2027, where that project is done, redoing 4 intersections, including the traffic lights.
Again, no county match required.
The motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 2-1.
Consider approval of signature authority for Art Capella and ECMS for the Fayette County Bridge projects.
Motion. Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Consider approval of signature authority for Art Capella and ECMS for Fayette County Sheepskin Trail projects.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
I second the motion. Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 2-1.
Consider approval of an agreement between Fayette County and Gibson Thomas Engineering Company, Inc. for right-of-way related tasks for the Sheepskin Trail South Union Township to Fairchance section in the amount of $18,850.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
I second the motion. Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for,
There's no county funds here at all. It'll be taken out of the 2% funding we get through the hotel tax.
any further discussion? Call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Motion carries 2-1. Number 15, Commissioners.
Consider approval of the January 15, 2025 Commissioners' Agenda Meeting Minutes.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval of the January 17, 2025 Commissioners' Meeting Minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval of the January 17, 2025 Commissioners' Special Meeting Minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Consider approval of the February 14th, 2025 Commissioners' Special Meeting Minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Consider approval to name Finance Director Casey Leonard as an approved signatory on Fayette County bank accounts.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Consider approval to remove the name of Ray Iker as signatory in the absence of the chief clerk.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Consider approval to enter into an agreement with Chrisland Energy to manage the county's gas and electric bills.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
That won't be to any cost to the county
Right.
as well. Zero cost.
And could even save us money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's zero cost.
Consider ratification of the following transfers that occurred in the 2025 budget, excuse me, from January 13, 2025 to February 14, 2025, with debits and credits of $10,815.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is promptly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Number 16 is public announcements.
I have one. We have a vacancy on the advisory board for the Behavioral Health Administration. This particular aspect of the citizenry has to be filled by somebody with personal experience in mental illness. And we would like to have somebody that can speak to those personal experiences in support and recovery. So if anybody is interested, please contact the Behavioral Health Administration. There's a form that needs filled out, and then it comes, after they review it and approve it, then it comes down to the commissioners. And then we will decide amongst the people that submit. The number at Behavioral Health is 724-430-1370. That's all I have.
On March 15th, which is a Saturday at 9 a.m. at the Fayette County Fairgrounds Fiddlers Building, we will hold the 8th Farmers Roundtable. A breakfast will be provided, but please RSVP so we know how many to prepare for. The topic will be farming versus wildlife, kind of, and it's the guest speakers will be the president of the Fayette County, the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau, a guy named Chris Hoffman, and the executive director of the State Game Commission, Steve Smith. So hopefully that will eliminate or help start some good conversation about the things happening in farming with damage from wildlife, which is a major problem here in Fayette County. That's all I have for public announcements, so we will open it up for public comment. Again, this is a 3-minute time limit. This is not a Q&A session. This is time for you to comment. If we know the answers, we may chime in. If we don't, we may not. Please, if you want to speak, you may do so by coming up to the podium. So we'll open up now for public comment. And please state your name when you got one.
Good morning. My name is Mark Fiano, and I'm a resident of Bullskin. And a couple things I wanted to bring up is some issues with the assessment office. For the last 4 years, I've been trying to get a parcel approved for the homestead exclusion for 2 people. One of them is disabled. And for 4 years, it's never gone through. And in violation of Title 53 and also Act 1, never have been given a letter of denial from the assessment office. So I would like to see that improved because the applications are due on March 1st for the current year. Also, the Tax Claim Bureau, when they did the last tax sale for September, all the deeds were mailed with the director's signature on there. Well, then all these deeds were sent back, and then they were notarized. Problem of it is, though, the Notarial Act of Pennsylvania says it must be signed in the presence of a notary. So these deeds are improperly notarized. And also, it says on the deeds that they're supposed to be the prothonotary of the county. The other deeds that I received back are not from Ms. Frankhauser. They're from a different notary. So I wanted some clarification, if I could, for next meeting, if these deeds are actually valid as they are recorded, so that they don't come back to haunt us later. And then lastly, with all the financial issues of the county and everything, and I'll give all of you a copy of this. I was looking into per capita taxes last night, and now with the increase that we're giving the tax collectors, that come 2026, if we stick with the same budgeted amount for taxes for the per capita at $155,475, and we do a per bill compensation of $3.80, and I pay at face value, I'm paying $4.90. You're paying the tax collector $3.80. You're only getting $1.10. That's kind of a raw deal. I think it's time to relook into the per capita taxes, because as of right now, for 2025, you only budgeted $155,475. You're going to be paying the tax collectors at the current rate of $3.05 per bill, $94,839.75, which means your net budgeted income from the per capita tax is only $60,635. Now, you do the math on that, $155,475 that you budgeted, divided by the $5 face value for the per capita tax that you're charging, that works out to say that we only have 31,095 residents over the age of 18 in Fayette County. When I looked at the Department of State and the Election Bureau, we currently have 78,000 registered voters, which includes everybody over the age of 18 that's registered. And then if you look at the 2020 census, we actually have 102,412 residents, which should actually work out to the actual value of the per capita tax to be collected at $512,000. And
Thank you. A couple things. So first off, you have the information on the,
yes, sir.
The homestead exclusion.
Yeah.
So I was unaware of that, and
Yeah.
so get us the information on that. I can say that the prothonotary, and Jack, you can chime in if you need to, the prothonotary is no longer a notary, and that is not permitted for some reason.
The prothonotary generally in the state, I think they have concluded that they should not be notarizing documents. So that's, I think it was a statewide change by the prothonotary through their association.
Right. So that's why the change from in the notary. I kind of agree with you on the per capita. There's no way to enforce it. You know, so if you don't pay it, it's not like we can come after your head. So there's not a lot of enforcement, but we don't pay, to my knowledge, and my tax collector is not here anymore.
I don't think we do.
Do we pay?
I don't think.
I'm
think it's on
pretty
the
sure we
property.
don't pay them the same rate for per capita tax as
No,
we do
yeah.
for the general.
It's just the
Yeah.
property.
Yeah.
Portion.
So, and the raise that we just gave them from 305 to 330 was for just the property tax and not the per capita. So however that portion of it remains the same. But in general, I agree with you. We have about 100,000 people that should be paying that. And we, like you said, we only get in 155,000, which that math doesn't add up. So
Also,
I think
you
some
said
are-
that we gave them a $3.80 per app. It's actually, we voted $3.30. It wasn't a $3.80, it was a $3.30. Yeah, well, initially, that's what was asked for, was the $3.80.
We gave them far less. And I think some of those per capitas, some people are exempt from it because of age. There's a threshold there. I've always been, what's that? Yeah, I thought there was an age limit there.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either.
We'd look into that. If you're a certain age, you don't have to pay it.
It's actually in there, beside your
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any further public comment?
I was one of the citizens of Nicholson Township,
Just state your
Dave-
name.
Dave Smith, Nicholson Township. My concerns are the solar errors, or whatever you want to call them, nightmares I call them, but my biggest one is, where do I want to go? Ask you guys about the one in the Peachins one and the Gans one that now has been sold to a company in Japan. I mean, how can we stop and try to keep them in the United States? They're both owned by Mitsubishi now out of Tokyo. And my second one is the Schultes Solar Era in Nicholson Township, which is owned by LLC, by our township supervisor and our township solicitor. I truly believe that's a conflict of interest. And it should be, it's actually, to me, I think it's criminal. It should have been notified at a time. And I think we should bring back farms, worry about farming and agricultural property more than solar at this time. We don't have the weather, the technology's not there, and that's what I believe. Thank you.
So I just want to go on record again, and we've said this before. The Fayette County Commissioners are not soliciting solar farms in Fayette County. We're not inquiring about them. We're not trying to bring them here. The interest in Fayette County is because we are considered in environmental justice community county because of the loss of the coal jobs. So there are additional tax credits that were put in a bill in 2022. I don't know if it was the infrastructure bill or which bill it was. You know, I'm interested now with the change of the administration to see what's going to happen to these tax credits. But going forward, you know, but I just want to put that out there that we are not soliciting solar farms at all. And
I've never talked to any of the companies. They've never called or anything. They're going right to the property owner.
So that's that. Second is the solar ordinance, which we had the public hearing in October, I believe. That went back to the Planning Commission. They reworked it. It's coming back to us. Actually, it came back to us either late last week or this week.
The hearing will be March 20th.
We'll have another hearing for the next solar ordinance, and then if we can get a consensus, then we will pass that. You know, again, we can't ban solar in Fayette County, and so what we've done is we've tried to make it so that, you know, the people at the hearing said basically either they were anti-solar, which again I can't ban solar, or they said they just don't want to buy their house or they don't want to see it. So what we've done is we have extended the setbacks and the buffer zones, and to try to eliminate that. Now that doesn't work on anything that's already been applied for.
It'd be from that point forward.
Right. And we think we have a good setback because the solar people hate it. So, okay, so.
We do get notices from the solar people.
Yeah. So, no.
There's really nothing except through the commerce, am I right?
Yeah, there's nothing we can do
Commerce Department.
locally on that, where these facilities get sold. And the couple things to keep in mind, one of the other reasons that there is so much activity here with solar is because of the legacy of the electrical infrastructure that we had in this area with coal-fired power plants that have mostly been shuttered or removed, like Hatfield. All of the associated transmission lines and facilities, that's all there. So because of that, it makes it more advantageous for these companies that want to do these to put them here. It doesn't matter that we're not a sunny area. Normal sunshine is all they need. It doesn't need to be Arizona-type sunshine. They're more interested in the fact of the infrastructure that's here to transmit the power. And that's why we're number 2. Ohio is actually number 1, where there's more of these being planned. The other thing to keep in mind, the statistics are, even when they get approvals for zoning and sometimes state approvals, most of them will still not be built. The majority, it's like 1 in 5 or something, actually get built.
That was one of the questions. So there was a seminar sponsored by the Fayette County Township Supervisors, and that was the question I asked the guy. I said, okay, so we have all these permits and all these rezonings in Fayette County. What's the odds, you know, are we going to have the entire county and then covered? He goes, it's about 10 to 20% of those will actually get solar panels. So what they're doing right now is they're throwing it against the wall, seeing what sticks. And
They're trying to get all the hoops jumped through, and then they make their final decision based on their economic analysis.
And I also met with a company here not long ago that is talking about doing a large regular electric, not solar and not green in any way, shape, or form. It's actually a regular electric panels that's doing a loop through multi-states. And it's supposed to hit into Fayette County also. So there's some other areas, and it goes back to what Jack was saying as far as the infrastructure that's here. That's why they're looking at things like that to increase the electricity here, because we are sitting in a time period of history with electricity that is we're running thin. We're running thin, and we got to solve that problem. And this company I met with, I really liked seeing what they showed. And it's a possibility, I believe. And that may be happening here in the real near future as far as them starting to talk to people. Because they'll be talking to farmers. A lot of that's going to be crossing over farmland. So, which then the farmers can still use their land for farming and for grazing, things that they need to use for. So I was very impressed with that.
all right, any other public comment?
I had one thing I wanted to mention to Mr. Fiano. It's 18 years of age or under don't have to pay but there's no requirement on the senior end.
There are some taxing authorities that apparently do that over 65. I just noticed, but it's not mandated statewide.
Yeah.
And there's also no database for the people, so it's up to the tax collectors to go to Southwest Regional Tax Bureau and try to keep their database updated in that way. So,
Well, actually, that's what you said, that's the fact that I called the assessment office, and they said I needed to talk to the treasurer's office, because I know the treasurer does receive these towns, city farms.
right. Help out, right.
So I talked to them, and says, no, we don't collect the taxes from those three jurisdictions, we don't authorize the taxes. So we got to talk to your tax collector, talk to the tax collector says, well, we only get the bills, we only collect what we're given.
Right.
You should talk to the assessment office.
All right, more public comment? Please come up. State your name.
Hello, my name is Felix Rizak. I'm a property owner in Nicholson Township area. And I'm on the same subject with solar farms as God before me just brought up all the solar farm issues and things. And one of the things about solar farms is it seems that Nicholson Township, whatever I read about it, is that they have adopted what they called was a solar ordinance. And what that does is let the solar farm people get around the A1 agricultural that most of our townships around Nicholson Township and Fayette County is zoned for A1 ag. Okay, one of my questions is, if you have to have a solar farm, why can't they be restricted to the M1, M2 areas, industrial areas that are already zoned for industrial stuff, instead of trying to pollute the landscape with all these solar farms that are around? If any of you guys ever went out to the Dunbar Road, out there by the Fayette County Fairground, and look at them solar farm, it's an unsightly thing, okay? Anybody that looks at it, that likes anything about being out in on the farmland and stuff, you'll see right away it's very unsightly, okay? And it seems that our township people also, they have a big interest in solar farms because they own the property. The township supervisor and township solicitor, and they're pushing to have solar farms put on their 100 and some acres of ground that's right beside the township building. It's right where I also live. And if you would have solar farms come into the areas, and there are several of them adapted or proposed right for the Nicholson Township area. And the only thing that does, it's going to let a handful of people get some money, and all the other 150 people or 200 people that I have petitions against solar farms, they're all going to be losing their value of their homes and stuff, because a lot of people, they're against having their home and house and around a solar farm area. Another thing that I'd like to bring up is any kind of electrical device throws off what you call EMF, electromagnetic field. And I've asked solar farm people, how do you measure that? Do you know if it's unhealthy to live around those things? I investigated, they called that California Environmental Facility has checked on this EMF, and they really didn't say if it was really detrimental to your house to live beside one, but they said just to be safe, you need to live at least a half a mile to a mile and an eighth away from them, okay? Just to be safe. And they're putting these here solar farms, they got them right up against houses within 50 feet, 100 feet. And I don't believe that's healthy for anybody, just like the high tension power lines where it throws off that electromagnetic field. And so all that there said and done, it also...
So your time is up, so...
My time is up?
Your time is up, sorry.
How much time do I get anyway?
You got 3 minutes then, yep.
3 minutes.
So,
all right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
For hearing my point.
Thank you.
You know, and I hope everybody understands, there's a fine line here between agriculture, solar, property owners' rights, the interests of the neighbors. I mean, and so what we're trying to do is, you know, walk that fine line between everybody. And so to your point about the 50 feet, you know, up against the house, you know, that's going to be, in our solar ordinance, that would not be allowed. You know, it'd be 500 feet from the property line. So you may live, you know, inside your property, but it would be 500 feet from your property line would be the closest. So, and you guys have any more comment? But
It's a tough balancing act is what it comes down to, because we also have, as you know, farmers that do want them, but they're also looking at it for survival reasons along with that. With all the regulations and everything put on the farming industry from the state and the Fed side, it's just crazy. And there's a lot of farmers I know that have sucked wind, and I also know that farms have closed, they've sold off. And some of them are reaching for these. Personally, I wish they weren't. But at the same time, I can't as an elected official, and also if I own land, I would want to be able to do with it in somewhat what I would want, especially to survive. And that's why this ordinance in particular, we're trying to get the setbacks out far enough. We're trying to make sure they have capabilities that if they want to buy, if they want to do solar, they can do it. But hopefully to not annoy neighbors and to try to keep the appearance of it acceptable. I'll say it that way. So it's a tough line, and it's a hard thing to juggle, and we're trying our best and to see what we can come up with.
And as far as the M1, if those were the M1 and M2 was the only zones appropriate for that, you'd be creating all these M1 and M2s all over the county, from agriculture, let's say, to M1, M2, if agriculture wasn't allowed to be one of the uses. Then after the solar farms are gone, those M1s and M2s are going to be everywhere around the county, and that could cause problems down the road, having those out there in areas that normally they wouldn't have been, because that's the least restrictive zoning there is. M1 and M2, you could put almost anything there that would be heavy industrial and light industrial. So that's an issue as well. After these things are decommissioned, they'd still stay M1 and M2.
So if a farmer went out and wanted to put solar on a portion of his property, he could come to us and have his property rezoned to M1, M2. And if he doesn't have a legal reason not to do it, then we're basically bound to rezone your property. So now, 30 years from now, we're going to have all these M1s all dotting the county, and those don't revert back to ag when the solar panel goes.
They're that zone for good.
But if it stays ag or A1 now, then 30 years from now, or at decommissioning, however, 20, 30 years, then that stays as agriculture, and the special exception will go away once they removed the solar panels for a year. So it would actually revert back to agriculture for A1.
And some of the other things that have to be answered with any of the solar panels under this is they still have to look at the clean and green issues, that they'll have to actually come up with some dollars to make those changes, and along with that, the farm preservations, because there's monies that are spent from the tax side or saved on the tax side one way or the other that would have to be reimbursed back to this county and also the state. So there's a lot of different factors in there that's got to be dealt with along with that, and that's what our ordinance, making sure that we can accomplish all those areas to cover all that.
And solar would never be allowed on a preserved farm. That's absolutely not.
What you just got done saying, that proposed for like 30 or 40 years, that's a lifetime for everybody in here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
right.
Forever, you're going to have the ugly solar farm. It's not like it's going to be there for a year or two. It's going to be there for the rest of my life.
No, and well, one of the things, so listen, as we look through ordinances from 30 and 40 years ago, we have to sit there and try to figure out why they did something, like from 30, 40, and we have no idea why, especially in the zoning world. So, hopefully having it stay as A1, then when we're gone, it reverts, it stays as A1 once those solar panels are gone. So, no good way to do it. But, we'll see what happens with, I think, January 20th, some of these programs are going to go away. So, any other public comment?
Somebody left a cell phone. I have a question. I don't know if you'll be able to answer it. And then
State your name.
Oh, I'm John Marietta. I'm the recorder of deeds in Fayette County, and what the gentleman was saying is correct about the things about the assessment office. It's been a trying time for the last little bit. When I came into office, the assessment office was actually 6 months behind in getting things taken care of, and then up until last year when Yins made the change, everything was being recorded on a weekly basis, but we're having problems again. The one question I have is, with the new tax increase that Yins are imposing on the property owners in Fayette County, Scott, you said that $31 million is what's being collected annually right now. Can you tell me how much more that you'll be collecting with the new tax increase?
I think that's something that people in Fayette County need to know. It needs to be put out there. The other thing, I'm extremely frustrated that eliminating the jury commissioner position isn't even on the agenda. During the agenda meeting, Scott, you stated that there was no more cuts to be made, that everything that could be cut has been cut.
I did not say that.
Okay, tell me what you said then.
I did not say that. I explained the jury commissioner position. I did not say that. Thank you.
And Vince, you thank the jury commissioners for their work, which consists of greeting jurors, stuffing envelopes. Does this really justify a taxpayer-funded salary with health benefits? How often do these individuals have to be at the courthouse? I know it's a part-time job, and yet the 2025 budget allocates nearly $15,000 per jury commissioner, meaning that they're being paid approximately, or we could figure it out, but over $400 a day that they work. Compared to that to the poll workers or the tax collectors, do they receive similar compensation and benefits? Eliminating this position would save $60,000 annually. Scott, you said that. It's not insignificant. You cut a job out of the assessment office, and Vince bragged because he said it was going to save the county $62,000. But yet I've been in court 7 times over deeds that weren't properly prepared from there. The reality is the Democrat Party bosses have already chosen their preferred appointee to this role. This is nothing more than a political protected position. And the fact that you two, as Republicans, are either too naive to recognize it or complicit in it is deeply disappointing. Now, Dave, I will give you credit. You said it needs to be addressed and looked at. Thank you. Either way, shame on you. You raised our taxes, and now you won't even listen to our suggestions to help save the taxpayers' money.
Okay, for the record, and I'm going to look at the WMBS thing since all this goes on WMBS. I did not say we're done cutting. I did not say these are other things that are on that have been on the WMBS radio show that I said we're going to raise taxes $1 million per year every year. I never said these things. I want to make that perfectly clear. I want people to understand the jury commissioner's tasks. There are jobs at the courthouse that have tasks associated with them. Yes, they help the clerk send out 600 summonses for the jury, not only for criminal court week, but for civil court week and for special trials. They also field 50 calls per week from that jury pool from people who can't be in the jury because they work or they're too old or they're too sick. We are required as a county to provide a pool of jurors for the court week. We have to do this. This is not something that is optional for us. Now, I want to make this perfectly clear. So for somebody to come in and be the backup to the clerk, to field the 30 to 50 calls a week, to help and assist checking people in, and to make sure that everything runs smoothly, if I have to hire a separate person to do that, that's going to be $65,000 a year. I've already did this information. I did this last fall when we were talking about the budget. To save $60,000 and then have to hire somebody at $65,000, I just didn't think, and I don't think, that this saves the county any money moving forward, and therefore that's why I did not put it on the agenda. By the way, only one commissioner has to put this on the agenda. None of the 3 commissioners put it on the agenda. I know Vince has different reasons for it. I know Dave said he still wanted to study it, but at this point, I am not in favor of removing the jury commissioner.
I have to echo what Scott said about hiring someone. If we got rid of the jury commissioners, we would have to bring someone else on board for this reason. There's only one person that is doing the mailings and doing the tracking on the jurors. if she is sick, and she's been here for a long time, but if she were not here, the jury commissioners would have to fill in to make sure that it would take place. So we would have to hire someone and go into training with another full-time employee to do that, and that would be under the courts is where that would be. So once again, I mean, I thought about this even 8 years ago because I was approached 8 years ago about getting rid of the jury commissioners. We have to do it not flippantly. We really do have to make sure that what we do is right, because otherwise we could get into a lot of problems with the courts and with the state when it would come down to the bottom line if the juries weren't being fulfilled. So we have to work on it the right way to make sure it's done without any kind of holes or any bumps in the system.
Okay, you're not on, you're
Right.
not speaking right now. Do you have anything, Vince?
Yeah, I do. Just to continue with what Dave said, the employee that does the jury commissioner's work has been here for more than 30 years, so they're getting the maximum vacation time that you can get from an employee. So they've got a lot of vacation to take, and somebody has to fill in when they're not here, plus those other tasks. I never mentioned anything, to my knowledge, about tasks at the agenda meeting. I talked about that the jury commissioners we currently have performed their duties adequately, and they did some things that they had told us they were going to do. They worked with the court to get a jury lounge. They're working for a permanent jury lounge on the 4th floor, and they do their job the day of the court sessions for civil and the criminal court. There's no savings if you have to hire another person. So that's, to me, that I had looked into this over the years, and ever since they passed the law in 2013, I came back in 15, and we did look at that, as Dave said, but I don't believe that we would get any savings because there would have to be another employee hired. And I know you had talked about Tuesday at the agenda meeting, the landscape of not having elected jury commissioners. You want to add to that?
Well, historically, the purpose of elected jury commissioners was to have a check and balance, that it wasn't just the judges and lawyers filling who was going to be on the jury, that you had people that were elected by the people and accountable to the people, who were the guardians of determining who was going to be in the panel that was going to be on juries, because juries are the foundation of our democracy. They're foundation of our justice system. They're the ones that make the decision on whether somebody's guilty or innocent, whether they lose their freedom and in some cases even their life, whether their fortunes are taken or whether they obtain recoveries. So the juries, for we lawyers, that's the heart of the justice system, is the integrity of our juries, the fact where there's constitutional requirements that juries be picked properly so that they're representative, that they're diverse, that they're equal, so everyone has a fair opportunity to serve on the juries. I know a lot of people think it's a burden, but it's a burden that is a necessity for our system of justice and really our system of government. I think, personally, having elected jury commissioners is a benefit, and it helps ensure those things. It's, again, this checks and balances. Same way we don't have a system where we don't have elected row officers. We could have a system where we didn't have them. I would not be in favor of that either. I think by having elected row officers, you have different perspectives and you have different checks and balances. I think that's a good thing. And I think the same is for jury commissioners. What little, if any, money we would save, I don't think it's worth the price of, maybe not getting as good a justice that we get now.
All right, anybody else for public comment?
Motion to adjourn.
There's a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Just, if I could just clarify, there was nobody online that had anything? Okay, all right. There's a motion to adjourn. There's a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.